So very timely. Let me go ahead and get into slideshow mode. Awesome. So the fourth quarter is here, right? October, November, December for those of us in the States. And the fourth quarter in the States specifically, and I do have international clients who mimic similar issues here. They're not exactly one-to-one, but you're going to be able to relate to what we're talking about, which is essentially a period of time within the fitness industry in which whether your gym does really well in the fourth quarter or it's slow or stagnant or it shrinks, whatever it may be, there's no doubt that there is a lot of distraction in the fourth quarter. Now, that distraction, I'm going to talk about kind of how we can use that distracted time of not having a ton of sales and what to do about maybe generating some sales during this slower period, but also how to maximize the quarter that possesses the highest opportunity for you guys to actually recharge and take some needed time off. And this gets into a little bit of a hot topic amongst gym owners of, no, I need to be open on Thanksgiving. My members need that. And I'm like, yeah, but your 6-year-old might need you too, possibly. Or maybe you just should deserve a day off. And we're going to talk about this. And I'd love for you guys to engage. I can't see the chat as it's going down, but Gavin can assist me and we can talk maybe at the end. Share with myself and Gavin what your thoughts are about taking extended time off around the holidays. Do you feel is that something you're trying to do, but you feel guilty about it? Something you want to do? How can we empower you? And hopefully by the end of this webinar, you guys will have a good game plan. So essentially what we need to talk about is every gym has these periods, right? Nobody is up and to the left, right? If I was on an X and a Y axis type scenario, we're constantly just growing. We have up, down, up, down, up, down. It's sales. You're going to have that. So every gym experiences this repetitive cycle, and typically it's year to year. Those of you guys maybe by universities, you notice a vacuum just sucks some of the money and energy out of your business when the students leave for summer. You then experience a surge of cash in the fall when they return. If you are in a touristy area, you might notice a gym, we had a Charleston, South Carolina gym. They might have record drop-ins during June, July, and August. Okay. It all kind of depends. And as you've been in business for a couple of years, you start recognizing the historic repetitive patterns. And I generally categorize these, I think like a 6th grader sometimes. So I like to do color coding in easy words, right? We have our go months, right? We're netting positive members. Our slow months, we might just break even. It might be like a net 0, maybe a net of 1 or something really minuscule. And then shrinking months, we actually shrink. We have less members. We went net negative. So we sold 7, we lost 12. That would be a shrinking month. And if you start like literally, I do this, I color code it. I have all the months. And when I had my gym, I knew these months were grow, these were slow, these ones were shrink. And I would plan proactively. In my market, where my gym was for over a decade, my shrink months were November, December, January, February. I had 4 months. Typically, we're looking at about an average of 3 months for most gyms. At some point in the year, you'll have 3 months where you might shrink or be slow. Very few of us are consistently, as we've been, once you get out, I've been doing this 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. You're not going to be able to say every month is grow. I wish that was the case. Unfortunately, it's not. It's typically on average 3 months. They could be all together in 1 quarter. They could be sprinkled throughout the years. It could be like me. It could be 4 months. But generally, you'll start identifying these differences in historical repetitive months for performance for your business. Now, here in the States, Q4, this one becomes especially difficult, even if you grow during Q4. Okay. And I'd love for, in the chat for everyone to go vote. Is Q4, let us know if that's a growing month for you, a slow month, or a shrink month. Just grow, slow, or shrink in the chat. We have the highest concentration in national holidays and adjusted closed business hours. Okay. We have the busiest travel season, highest credit card balances, Christmas presents, things like that. And then marketing overload. People are hitting you as soon, like Halloween's around the corner, right? My kid is going to look adorable next to like the last Tuesday in October. And then guess what? We are going to get hit with every ad possible for Cyber Monday, Black Friday. Buy this black little dress for New Year's Eve. Reserve your table for the Super Bowl. I mean, everything is going to hit your membership base. And then there's you also trying to be like, oh, by the way, when you're not doing all that, would you mind coming and joining the gym and getting started with a fitness program? That would be awesome. It's not the most practical time of the year to get people started. Realistically, if you were sitting down with a friend and they're like, my kids are out of school, we're traveling to Wisconsin, and then my husband's family's coming in for New Year's, we got tickets to a college football game, we got this, that, the other thing. Yeah, maybe starting at a brand new gym and getting started with the fitness program might not be the best time. And that, and the fact that, Nana is gonna be making delicious pumpkin pies and apple this, and it's a time of overindulgence in food. Yeah, practically it might not be the best time for the average person, especially here in the States where over 33% of us are in the that unfortunate obesity category. We can see where this might get difficult for a gym. Now, let's see. Here we go.
Well, real quick, Stu, most people are saying slow, actually, which makes sense. Not a lot of shrink or grow, but majority are just slowing down in Q4. And I wonder, how is Q1 actually? Is it a grow for some people, a slower shrink as well? Because
I would love to see with it. So typically the industry thing of New Year's resolutions, that's something that we actually see fall off as you get to the southern states. The reason Cleveland, Ohio has a pop of sales in January is because you've been inside since October. So that New Year's resolution, like January, the gym's filled, that's actually something that we see dissipate slowly the closer to the equator you get. It's not really a nature of New Year's resolutions. That's a pretty cliche thing. It's actually more of like a cabin, like stir crazy syndrome type scenario. So I'm in Charlotte. It will be probably 60 some degrees on Christmas Day, whatever. I've been here on the 70s on Thanksgiving, but come February, that is the peak of the cold for Charlotte. That, my friends, that like for Charlotte, March, that's our New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and that daylight savings hits and stuff. I mean, that people are, they've kind of gone through family, so they're burnt, they're tired, they're fat,
Yeah. Now, some gyms do have that. You have that cliche New Year's resolution thing, but it's not, for a lot of people, when we really zoom out on it, it's not necessarily always just due to January 1 and resolutions.
Yeah, that seems kind of, anyway, sorry to derail you.
No, you're good. That was a good combo. So guys, if you have a slow or a shrink Q4, a couple things. Number one, you have to prepare. If it's November 15th, you're like, damn, it's kind of slow in here. Wait a minute. Let me go back and look at our numbers from last year. We were slow last year, November. Well, we needed to prepare. That's why Gavin and I thought it'd be a really good idea to get this out in front of you guys now. So you can go back, look at your historics year over year over year. What is this month for us? Is November and December going to be slow, grow, or shrink? And now you can plan accordingly. Let's say it's slow or shrink. Number one, in-house revenue. If you haven't done an apparel drop, or you haven't run one of my favorite things is we would run a 90-day nutrition or fitness challenge in which members put money in to the pot. I'm paying $200, $250, whatever it is, to participate. And they get it all back as long as they participate. They don't have to win. They don't even necessarily have to do really well. But we had attendance metrics. You had to do maybe some weigh-ins or do a before and after kind of fitness test type scenario. But what that $250 or whatever, $300 in did, no one's canceling during that period of time, because then they don't get their money back. And essentially, you run a 90-day in-house challenge, nutrition, fitness, whatever you want to be, attendance, and you start it right at the beginning of your slow or shrink month. Because a lot of the slow and the shrink, and many people probably relate to this, are holds, freezes, I'm traveling, I'm going to cancel, I'll be back. Well, to negate that, I would come up with challenges for the gym before the slow season kicked off, get them to put in money and tell them, hey, listen, all you have to do is participate. You got to come to the gym. If you have a 12 times a week membership, you have to come 12 times a month. You got to come 12 times a month. You got to do this test, do this thing. And the only way you don't get your money back is if you quit. That's it. As long as you participate. Now people will think twice about canceling that membership or putting it on hold, because they know they're also going to be forfeiting this money that they put in for this program before the slow month kicked in. So we would run it for 90 days and we would see a huge drop off in freezes, holds, and cancellations, because in their head, like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna keep paying, even if I'm not coming as often. And because I don't want to lose this money and I'll be back in January anyway. It just makes them rethink it versus how easily, just put it on hold. I'll be back in January when life isn't as busy. So that's
did you run into people getting kind of pissed off if they quit and like making up excuses or anything like that?
No, absolutely not. Because you say the only way you don't get your money back is if you quit.
Yeah.
You got to very transparent. Be like, guys, you're going to get your money back as long as you participate, because we know you're going to be better than as long as you participate. That's all we're looking for. But if you quit, you don't get your money back. On average, it was like 10 to 15% quit. And guess where that money went? To the gym.
Yeah. And you pay. Yeah.
So I made a little money. Yeah, I made a little money, but I reduced cancellations and freezes and holds is really
that's how you pay yourself back, is the minimization of that. Gotcha.
Yes, cool. That's the goal. And then one of my favorite, promotions is you can also do like apparel drops. Like those are good punches of cash if you haven't done that. A real quick good hack, apparel with a gift card. So I'd make gift cards like little plastic, just kind of like your credit card. You could get them for like 75 cents if you buy a couple hundred of them, get your logo on it. It's got a barcode. The barcode doesn't do anything. It's just there for show. And it says $100 to Urban Movement. And I would have $100 gift card and a brand new apparel run that we did. It's wintertime, so maybe we get a hoodie or whatever it is, a beanie, this, that, and we'd wrap them up. We had a little tree at the front of the gym and all of them like little presents all there. Because guess what happens in the holidays? Any of you guys in the corporate world, and Gavin's remote, so he probably doesn't have to deal with this. Secret Santa. Or I got to get my...
No, we do it.
Okay. I got to get my girlfriend's brother something. I've been dating this chick 6 months. I don't know anything about her brother. So we advertise this to the members. Sometimes at the holidays, you get put into an awkward situation where you have to get someone a gift. We're offering a $100 gift card and some cool swag for $40.
Right.
The members would be like, oh my God, I totally forgot I had to do Secret Santa for so-and-so, whatever. They'd pay $40. They got, shirt, tell us what size, tell us what gender, whatever it is, get the gift card. And now it's a $100 gift card and a piece of swag. The cost of the member covers the shirt. And then now you have this gift card floating in the ether. Now I'll tell you this, 30% or less will actually come in and get redeemed, but that's okay. They're out there, and if members would buy these like crazy. We just had them at the front desk. We had them at that little tree, and they'd be like, I need a medium girls. I'm going to this thing with some girlfriends, and I got to get my girl something. And those did really well too. So there's some fun little hacks and things like that you can do. Pay now, start later are great promotions. So think of any promotion you can run for your gym, advertise it transparently. We don't want you to start now. It's kind of nonsensical to start now. We get it. We're trying to enjoy the Super Bowl and wings and pumpkin pie too. But if we have a program, it's got a promotion, there's some kind of discount or something attributed to this. If you start now, or you pay now, you start later. I spent a lot of time looking at like High Rocks and DECA and Marathon sign up and looking at the economics of those. And the amount of people that will pay now for something that doesn't begin for months and months and months down the road, because it now puts something on the calendar and makes them feel accomplished, even though the thing's not done yet, is astronomically true. From a sales psychology standpoint, it works phenomenally. So starting in October, we would run pay now, start later. We know it's hectic. We know you're busy, but now you get this promotion if you buy now, and it starts anytime in January thereafter. You have up until a certain date in the next year to utilize it. People would buy like crazy. Again, we'd have 20, maybe 30% never show up. Never paid and never showed up, no matter how hard we tried to get them in. But people will not start a program maybe in the fourth quarter, but they will sign up for a program that starts in Q1.
Yeah, and I think I remember you talking about this last year too, because it's hard to get them to actually take action on something during these busy months. I mean, we anticipate that as well, just in push press, is that people will be hard. We work on success. We work with clients as well on some of the business practices, and it's going to be harder to move and get things done. We just how the nature of it. So interesting.
100%. So
anybody put in the chat, has anyone done that, like that kind of promotion or any of the promotions that Stu's already mentioned? I'd love to hear you guys. If this is old news to some of you, or is this brand new news to some of you, right?
And there is a course inside of PushStart, guys, where I go in much further, deeper detail on that stuff. And I think we might have also done it on a webinar as well, maybe.
I think so, yeah.
But let's now talk about using, now we've kind of talked about, okay, here's some ways to alleviate the pain financially of the fourth quarter or whatever slow part of the year you have. Now let's talk about using it to regroup and recharge. I have a very hot take, is that I believe, and I did this when I was young in my gym owner career, that I had a moral responsibility to be open if anybody wanted to train during any period of time. Bank of America be closed, Whole Foods could be closed, Payless Shoes could be closed, Chipotle could be closed, but me, Stu Brauer, CrossFit South End, I'm open. I never close. And it was this martyrdom thing. And it was, I moved to Charlotte in 2009. I started my business then. I did not see my family for a holiday until 2013. And because I thought that's what I had to do. I could never have been more wrong. Members showed up because, well, yeah, if you're open, I don't want to stay. I'm tired of sitting here talking to grandpa and hearing the same jokes all day. I'm going to go. But nobody has ever in the history of ever canceled your gym because you closed extended hours, what I call extended holiday hours around Q4 or whatever, again, and what in cultures that are here that are not American, whatever maybe your holiday culturally hours are, no one has ever been like, you are closed 2 days before Christmas, completely closed. I can't do one thruster in your gym. Well, please, when you return, I submit my cancellation. That's never happened, ever happened. Okay. This is how I would recommend for this specific year. You think about, extended holiday hours. I'm going to move our heads up. So everyone needs time off to recharge, right? As gym owners, especially as small business owners, period, we do not get a lot of downtime. This is the one time of the year we have a great opportunity to recharge, get time off with our family. Heck, even just have time where you walk in your gym for an entire day and not one person's going to walk in and bother you. You know that list of stuff you've been thinking of doing all year, but you can't get it done? Imagine if you had the whole day, not one human being was going to walk into that building, and you had the whole day to hammer out whatever work you've been trying to do. This is how I would recommend looking at this year. And you could extend those holiday hours prior, maybe even a little bit more if you wanted to. But I would be having reduced hours 25th, 26th, 27th, completely closed on Thanksgiving, completely closed on Friday, holiday hours on Saturday, and reduce whatever that means. Okay. Maybe I know some of you guys I've got gyms that I work with run 4 classes on Saturdays. They're going to reduce it down to maybe 2, whatever it is. This is again, personal preference. I have gym owners that tell me, Stu, I run classes on Thanksgiving because I like to. Like, good. As long as it's not causing you any issues, I'm all for it. This isn't a principled thing. I'm talking about the gym owner who at some point during the year complains that they're overworked, that they don't get any time off, that their family misses them. If you've ever said that, I believe there's somewhat of an obligation to whoever those other stakeholders are in your life that you were just referencing, if you've ever said that out loud or to yourself, to leverage this. You don't owe people the holidays. You're a small business. You're a private owned company. You can shut down whenever you want with zero guilt around it. And I remember the first time I finally decided to shut down, I got a text message from a member and I saw the name coming like, oh my God, he's going to chew me out because I'm closed. It was 2 paragraphs of him telling me, I'm so proud of you. I hope you're having time with your family in Cleveland. Good for you. Even now telling that story just sends chills up my arm because I was so afraid he was going to lash out at me. He wasn't. These are humans too, and they generally want what's best for you. For December, January, this is kind of what I'd recommend. Sunday the 1st, coming in after Thanksgiving, closed. Going into the holiday hours, I would be doing them on the 20th, reduced hours on the 20th, the 21st. I would be closed on Sunday. I'm assuming a lot of you guys don't really run a lot of classes on Sunday. If you do, you can sun that down, in my opinion. Monday, reduced hours. Tuesday closed, Wednesday closed, Thursday closed. And I know some people are like, dude, Stu, we're going to close for 3 days in a row, 2 days after Christmas. My members need to get in here. They're going nuts at home. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we all spent a couple months at home not too long ago. And I'm pretty sure we all survived. Dust off some of those COVID workouts you've got and let people know, hey, if you're at home, there's other shit you can do.
Yeah.
This idea post-COVID made this argument so much easier to do. Back in the day, I've been barking this since 2015. and people just never really got down with it. I think this is just my version. You guys, again, you guys are all adults. You guys can make your own decisions as to what you close down for. But if you have full-time employees, most time in small business America, we can't offer a lot. Our compensation isn't the best in the market. Our benefits packages aren't incredible, if at all.
Yeah.
Give people time off. No one's going to cancel the gym. I promise you. But
I mean, I had a lot of coaches. We had 2 locations and 16 coaches. So I found that closing down was not a bad thing if we gave a heads up. That's something that, like,
oh yeah,
the
100%.
not knowing, like, I feel like some gym owners, I've been, part of this as well, didn't give enough heads up and said, oh yeah, we're going to do these hours this week. And like, you're just falling behind. But if you got somebody in town that doesn't mind, like a part-time coach that's going to want to go in and work out anyways, those are the guys that I always tried to get during that holiday to create those holiday hours. So I wouldn't have to go in, but still those holiday hours would be provided.
And I'm going to play devil's advocate on that because I had the same thing. Once I had the epiphany, I had a part-time coach who was local in Charlotte and he was willing to do it. The only issue is, let's say I have him do that for a couple seasons. Now I've created an expectation. And let's say then he moves to Miami and I lose him. Now I've created the expectation. So I said, no, you want to go into the gym and work out on your own? That's fine. No, you cannot bring members in. No, you can't have a workout party. We're closed. You work here, you're allowed to go in, and that is it. Cameras are on, buddy. But because I did not want to create the expectation that was it. Because if I lose him and I don't have a local coach who wants to get out of his family's house on Thanksgiving,
right?
I don't want to create that. I don't want to do that. So
no, that's touche. As soon as you give an inch, they'll take a foot, and yeah,
sure,
100%.
And again, we're creating businesses, guys. These are meant to be replicatable and scale, like things that, we're able to consistently do the same thing extremely well every year. So this is what I'd recommend. Again, you take a look at this, you have between the 20th and the 1st of January of significantly reduced work, giving you a lot of time to hopefully go ahead and start reflecting on the past year. Take time off, start thinking about what, look back on this past year, like really take some thoughtful time, sit there. I used to sit crisscross applesauce on my gym floor when nobody was going to bother me. And I would look around and I would think, what did I mess up this year? Think back to a time where I did something, I had a negative impact on the gym. And I would just sit back. I'd be super thoughtful. What red flags came up ahead of time that I didn't notice because I was so busy running around as a business owner? Next year, I want to write that down. I want to be thoughtful. We are so boom, 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 boom in the business. We never take time to reflect back and really not repeat things. My favorite quote here of a colleague of mine, don't be afraid to break things. Just don't break it the same way twice. But if you never take the time to sit down and reflect on these things, and I don't know if you could journal it, you can, whatever you do with it, but like actually think about it. How can you make better decisions next time? You are doomed to constantly be kicking yourself annually when you make similar, if not the exact same mistakes. Additionally, we want to create an annual plan. With all that off time, you've got a lot of time to think. You got a lot of time to think about what you want in the next year. And that's where I like people thinking big picture. I have everyone break down their annual plan into 4 categories. We are going to create a unique macro goal, a big picture goal for the business, for the staff, for the clients, and then we're going to have one personally. There are 3 stakeholders in your business that we ultimately have to satisfy. The business has to make profit. The staff have to have fulfillment and proper compensation. And the clients have to get a service in which it exceeds their expectations. If you do all 3 of those things, I promise whatever your personal goal is, you're probably going to be able to afford it, whether it's monetary or afford the time off, whether it's just, time. These are the big 4 I want you thinking of. Okay. Now, when we're looking to improve the business and ourselves, this personal one is if we played that game with my 6-year-old, which one doesn't belong? It'd be this personal one. And I'll be honest, Gavin, it's so funny. This is the hardest one for me to get gym owners to create goals for themselves that have nothing to do with the business. Nothing. And I was joking around before the call. I've now got owners who want to take trips or go to this concert or travel over here, or I have one that wants to buy a boat, like whatever that goal is. I don't care. I'm not here to judge it. I want you to have a personal goal, because the gym owner who is always self-sacrificing to the business, that's not, in my opinion, that's not a sophisticated entrepreneur, right? Anyone can be a suicide bomber and run head first. You need to be a strategic planner. How do I get some me time back? They could be spending more time with my kid, right? They'd be, being able to take my wife out on more dates or on a trip. Could be learning to play the guitar. I don't care what it is, but make sure you carve out a personal goal for yourself. Okay. It's burnout's real, guys. I mean, we
Burnout
all
is so real. Yeah.
so real for the small business owner. So when we do this, like I talked about, we're coming up with macro goals. But if, like, let's say that business goal is, I want to grow by 100 members this year. That's a macro level goal. There's a lot of micro goals that need to come into play in order to achieve that. So let's say you analyzed it, and based on your numbers, like, okay, in order for me to achieve that, I'll need to net at least 8 memberships per month, and I'll need to have no less than an average of 96% retention month over month. Again, this takes time, which you now have because you have extended holiday hours. You can be careful and think about the numbers and get to your whiteboard and draw, sketch things out like your own version of a beautiful mind, and really think about this. Now, macro sets the tone, but micro sets the tactics. When establishing your macro goal, think of every variable that needs to fall in line, right? Like, what do we need to achieve in order for this to happen? So let's say your macro level goal is, I want to hire a full-time GM, all right? Micro goals could include, but not limited to, well, I've never had a GM. I don't even know what a GM does. Chat GPT, what is it? Create me a job description for a general manager of a fitness facility with 165 members in Cleveland, Ohio. Like, or whatever research you need to do. Okay. Create the role and job description within your org chart. And if you have not created an org chart, we have an incredible course for you inside of PushStart, going all over the org chart and how to create one. Ensure compensation plan is viable and yet competitive. Everyone's like, man, nobody wants to get I've been posting jobs for months and no one wants to work here. I'm like, you're paying $17 an hour in Chicago. It's like, again, we have to have a realization conversation too. This is where, like, okay, I came up with a compensation plan. Is this good? Well, let's go to Indeed, barbelljobs.com, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, any of the job posting sites which are start looking. What are people paying for a similar role? Very easy. And probably at this point, you could probably ask Bard, the Google AI or ChatGPT, to help you out with that and bridge the gap. Consult with our CPA as to the tax costs associated with this role. Well, I know I'm going to pay them. And if I want them to be a W-2, that means in the States, I'm going to have to pay taxes. I don't know how much extra taxes are going to be. All right, well, let's mark that down. That's another micro goal. I have to have a conversation with my CPA. Now you run the numbers based on the payroll budget, and staying under 37% of my total monthly revenue. Because maybe your CPA told you, hey, yeah, you can bring somebody on, but you can't exceed this percentage of your total monthly revenue in payroll for this year based on, what you did last year in numbers. Okay, so the CPA says, or financial planner, whoever you have working on your numbers, I need to stay here. Well, I'll need to generate an additional X amount of money and able to afford this role. Again, this is all hypotheticals, but you guys we back into the micro goals and the steps that are needed in order to achieve the macro. And, you ultimately end up getting with a nice long list of things that ultimately have to happen if you want to hire this person. It allows you to actually get your hands in there and get a little dirty and understand this, like how big of a macro goal that really is. Because I've had some people give me 6 macro goals for the year. I'm like, oh, no. Like, one macro goal should take you pretty much the entire year to achieve, realistically, or the majority of it. So this is just an exaggeration to show you guys kind of how to break this thing down. I also recommend creating measurable results and timelines. Timelines help keep us accountable. Measurable, like key performance indicators, help let us know whether we achieved it or we fell short. Okay. If the goals that you're creating, the macro level goals, are business, HR, or client experience, nominate one member from your team to be responsible for the outcome of the specific goal. Maybe help organize meetings, lay out timelines, or report progress. If you don't have a lot of team members, then that's probably you. But if you do have a GM or an assistant GM or a head coach, You might be able to task them with maybe one of the client experience goals that you guys come up with. So again, try to bring your team into it, because it's kind of like, what's the saying about when people, at dinner, like, hey, I'm not drinking, I'm an alcoholic. Now everybody knows. It's way easier for that person to stick to their pledge to not consume alcohol when everybody knows, versus they just keep it to themselves. So when you say out loud to your team, I'm wanting to hire a GM by the end of the year, or I'm wanting to do this with my client experience, or I want us to grow by 35 members. Well, now you've said it out loud. It helps. And then especially you could bring the team in and see how they can help leverage their skill sets to achieve your goal. If it's your personal, talk with your partner, your spouse, your friends, your parents, whoever's going to help keep you accountable to that. Here's another example. I want to travel with my spouse to Dublin for St. Paddy's Day this year and be gone for 14 days. All right. That's a very biased personal goal. This trip is estimated to cost 12 grand. And so we want at least 14,000 in our travel account in case we go over budget. I've never left the business for this long, so I got to ensure my GM knows what to do. Do I have all the systems jotted down? Do they understand the workflow of everything from start to finish? If I'm going to be gone for 14 days, maybe I need a plan to be gone for 3, see how the GM does. Then be gone for 6, see how the GM does. Then be gone for 9, see how the GM does. Instead of going from being gone 0 days and then just for 2 weeks and chucking a deuce and hoping that it works out. Ensure we have no large events planned at the gym. There's no any pre-established obligations, like, oh crap, I totally forgot we were hosting that fundraiser and I'm gone in Dublin, at Temple Bar having a good old time and my GM's freaking out back at home. That wouldn't be a good idea. And then maybe because I want to go in March, so that's St. Paddy's Day is March, maybe I need to decrease payroll by 40% in January and February so we can double up on coverage in March when I'm gone. This is what we call playing chess, not checkers, my friends. Thinking proactively. Timelines keep us honest. If you wanted to renovate and upgrade the bathrooms and showers as your client experience goal, okay, by March 1st, I'm going to have quotes from a GC. By April 1st, I'm going to finalize that, have those quotes finalized, and then engage an architect or an interior design person. June and July, I'm going to provide alternative bathroom accommodations during construction because they said we're going to be closed for about 35 days where the bathrooms will not be accessible, blah, 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 whatever that comes out to be. But whatever those little milestones are in that you create, the micro goals, give yourself timelines, give yourself a due date. That will hold you accountable. Ultimately, guys, when it comes to using this downtime in the fourth quarter, to create an annual plan, there's no right or wrong annual plan. And I've worked with businesses that have literally one plan. We're not doing HR and clients and this. We have one business goal. And it's the one laser focus goal I'm going after. Great. Ultimately, what needs to happen is you have to take the time to think about the goal. Like that's really everyone's like, I want to do better next year. And then it stays superficial. Dial it in very specifically. What is better? Is that in members or is that in revenue? Like what are we talking? Is it in profit? Is it in how much you take home? You got to get very specific, but it requires some quiet time. And today's Tuesday, and you all took the time to be on this webinar, and we're gratefully appreciated. And obviously, you have some people that could help you out. You're able to take some time, pop off here, but you're going to really need to spend a good amount of time if you want to create a comprehensive annual plan.
Yeah, these are tough questions. Every single category, business, HR, CX, and personal, are obviously going to be important. Would you recommend making maybe a macro for each and then maybe a few for each and then go through the list again and maybe even if you have somebody in your gym or staff that you like to bounce ideas off of, be like, hey, here are my ideas. Which do you think are the priority? Yeah,
if you have a couple macros, essentially what you're saying, you're not sure which one to make my priority one, because I recommend going with one. Then I think you need to have a trusted, this is where, I generally recommend maybe not necessarily a member.
No,
that's biased opinion, but like if you have a staff member, this is what I call like part of the leadership team. They're one of your core people. That's a great person. Other business savvy friends, mentors, things like that. Like those are good people that are, because they're not, snow blindness. They're not so close to it. They can. So yes, it might be worth the energy and effort to get a third party perspective on your.
Which is a great plug for Push Press's success team, myself, Greg, Michelle, It's a small team, but we are definitely here as we've all been in the gym. We've all managed, run, owned gyms. So for years and years, and some of them still own their gyms. So they're going through the same flow that you guys are kind of going through with the economy and the shoulder seasons and such and the holidays. It's good time to get like on a call with one of us and chat through that. It's no cost to you guys. It's just kind of what Push Press is all about. Is not just the software, but also we're trying to help you guys be successful gym owners. And then Stu obviously works with clients as well. Little plug for Stu. Certainly worth reaching out. And if you're taking more clients, I don't know, Stu, you are, but lots of people in the space as well as mentors. So, and then our Facebook group, if you guys aren't part of that, that's a great place to throw some ideas too. A lot of gym owners just with eyes and ears on that, and also our Express staff. So that's a good place if you're like, hey, I got these 3 macros. Like, what do you guys think this is the situation? But sometimes jumping on a call is even easier. Yeah, Stu at WTFGymTalk.com. You guys can reach out to him. Some of you guys are gonna have to bounce. I know we're kind of come up on time, 45 minutes or so. I did have a Q&A. We could open it up for more questions. Throw it in the chat, or if you guys are tech savvy with the Zoom, throw in the Q&A element part. But it looks like we got pay now, start later. Do you put a period of validity for such action?
So I'm assuming, like, are you talking for whoever Naomi? I apologize. Is that Naomi?
Naomi app.
Okay. Hey, Naomi, thanks for the question. So I'm assuming you mean by period of validity, like, does it have like, okay, pay now, but you've got to get started by a certain date? Like, you've got to, don't show up in 2026 with this, like, hey, I paid for it kind of thing. Yes. I generally don't recommend like everyone has to start January 2nd. That's not realistic. That's not how people's lives work, especially around the holidays. But I do recommend probably putting something in like you got to get started by January 31st. Anytime there. And here's what you'll find. Last year, I had a 27% of the gyms that ran this, people that bought the buy now, pay later, actually ended up starting in December. Like, literally, we're just like, what if I want to start early? Of course you can. Like, absolutely you can. 100%. Let's go. And it's, I mean, to them logically in the ads that we put out and things like that, it made sense. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to sign up here. I'm getting this deal and I'll start then. But they're like, well, can I start now? 100% you can. And it was about 27% of the people that bought it actually started in December. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see how, so is pricing different, discounted?
I mean, it's, it needs to be what it is. So I don't believe the discounts are bad as long as the discount gets you where you want. So for example, I needed $200 a month. That was my gym. So we would run it, we'd advertise at $225 or $235 with a discount that got you at $200 a month. But discounts are just psychological positioning. That's all they are.
Yeah.
It's not like we're like discounts are bad. No, they're not. You're a consumer. Tell me you have not utilized a discount in the past 30 days. I will call you a liar if you said you haven't. There's no way. We all utilize a discount in whatever shape or form. We park here because it's free instead of paying for parking in the parking garage. We do this. Like, we all do this stuff. So I do recommend, if you want more, throw a little bit of bait out. Do something. Sure. Like, we would also do a BOGO. Like, maybe buy 1 month, get 1 month free. But they had to commit to 3 total months paid. So that was first month paid, second month free. But then they had to stick around for those other ones. That means I've got them for 4. Then I had a 30-day cancellation notice, which means I typically are going to have them for 5. So it's, it's how you frame up the deal. But
Target's discounting their products for you to buy, but they're still going to break even. They're not.
Oh yeah.
They're not just giving it away.
$9. They're just $9 more expensive as the advertising price.
Exactly. You gotta think that way a little bit, which yeah,
we should probably maybe do a course on some pricing psychology sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely. It's it's hard to take time off, and it's hard to think more corporate aggression with pricing sometimes, because you're in it for the passion, you're in it for and we're doing actually the good in the world. We're not just selling burgers and fries, we're selling fitness. And it's hard to be like in that other mindset of capitalism when you're doing something that's actually helpful.
But we also got to remember the environment that all these consumers are in, guys. Your prospective members, they are all in Black Friday mode, Cyber Monday. They're thinking of are discounts and stuff. So again, I would just tell you, I wouldn't, maybe if it wasn't fourth quarter, I might not say do a discount if you normally don't. But you're currently in a culture right now of where, you're gonna have people that line up around the block in Boston, Massachusetts, freezing their butt off for 4 hours so they can get into Walmart and get $30 off a TV.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to buy a new washer and dryer or TV, you're waiting a few weeks here until you can hit those deals.
So,
It's coming.
Yeah.
So
doesn't mean you have to, though. You don't have to run any promotions, discounts. It just depends what the goal is, of the marketing effort.
For sure. Well, cool, Stu. This has been awesome. I see the number is slowly dwindling. People are going back to coach classes, I'm sure, and personal training sessions and such. But yeah, reach out to Stu at WTF Gym Talk. Obviously, Push Press has our success team. We'd be happy to talk through these kind of ideas. And if you guys have run some in the past, what didn't work, so you can do a little differently maybe going forward. Just because it didn't work one year doesn't mean it's not going to be work better the next year if you focus on doing it maybe just a little bit different. So, and again, 2020 wasn't that long ago, so the markets are changing every year's a new year as we segue into different kind of parts of the culture, I guess, away from COVID and so on. So I think there's a survey after this that'll be triggered. You guys fill that out. If you want a call or want some help, please just answer that survey and we can follow up one-on-one via email. So everybody have a great day, and Tuesday, check out the next webinar come November 9th. All right.
Awesome, guys. Take care.
Take care.